welcome Robert Brokenshire.
Thanks very much, Dave. And thank you for coming along tonight. I also want to acknowledge Rosemary, because I've done a lot with Rosemary since I've been back in the Parliament, and she's an absolute rock of Gibraltar, and she should be recognised for all of her efforts. And it's incredibly disappointing to me when you write a letter to the Minister asking for a small amount of money to assist Rosemary to fight the good fight for injured workers, that you can't even get a puny few dollars to help resource the organisation. And I think that speaks about the attitude of the government to injured workers. I want to acknowledge Dave Waterman, because Dave Waterman is in media, but he's prepared to give a fair go to injured workers to put their case across the media, and that's something that needs to happen. And I want to acknowledge my colleagues as well tonight. I've always been concerned about WorkCover, because I thought the Parliament was about making laws that protect the state, protect the people of the state, and enhance the state. And I always felt that we could have actually had legislation in the Parliament that had a very big stick at the end of it to ensure that employers did the right thing by employees, and that employees were looked after when they were injured at work. But WorkCover's simply been an ideology, and it's been driven as an ideology, and it's been a failure. It's been a failure to employers, and I'm an employer myself, and I'm on a pretty significantly high rate, and that adds several dollars per hour to the people that we employ, and doesn't help us to employ any others. I talk to people that want to get into self-insurance, and they've got incredible penalties coming from WorkCover to get into self-insurance, like outrageous amounts of money, and they have genuine intentions to make their businesses much better for the workers. I struggle like mad with the lack of proper case management and care and attention to workers. I would like to see some transparency from the government in the decision that they made in giving one company the whole rights to manage injured workers. So I don't believe there's been transparency there. And just on that point, before I go on, there may be people from the government, from the Minister's office, from WorkCover. I put a press release out saying that I would exercise my rights as a Member of Parliament, as an eligible officer under the Whistleblower Protection Act. I do not want to see one person here tonight that is injured being incriminated in any way whatsoever, because they've come along in a democracy to support the enormous amount of problems that we have with this corporation. And if that happens, I know my colleagues will support me, but let me know straight away, because there has been too much intimidation against genuinely injured workers, and it is wrong. We do not live in a dictatorship, even though some people in high places in government would prefer that. We actually live in a democracy, and the most important matter for any government to deal with is the people that they represent, and to govern for all, and that's not happening in a lot of areas, but particularly not when it comes to WorkCover. Now, yes, Anne's right, the Liberal Party didn't oppose the Labor government when they put in these draconian measures just before I came back into the Parliament, and I would have loved to have been there at that time. It's my 14th year, but I was in the lower house, went out, and then came into the LegCo. At least you're right there. Witnesses there, he could have mentioned himself. The fact of the matter, he's just trying to disrupt my speech.
Don't worry about his injury.
The fact of the matter,
He actually wants a claims form.
at least Ian Evans has come tonight and said that they intend to fix the mess. And I can say that as one crossbench member in Family First, as an independent minor party, that if I'm re-elected, we'll certainly be there batting for fixing the mess. And as we know, our colleagues Anne and Mark are certainly trying to do that too. In fact, we had legislation, all of us, before the Parliament last year, but couldn't get it passed, unfortunately. But there is a new era that can dawn. It's a matter of making sure we get that era to dawn for the right reasons.